Everyone has an intuition. However, this intuition is super different from person to person. Where we often think that everyone should follow their gut or their heart, actually we have 7 different ways of intuition that is unique to every person. And if we know about our own intuition, that is when we can make the right and correct decision for us. Therefore, in human design, we call this authority, which means we are taking back the authority to ourselves, because no one else can know what's correct for you. Only you know what feels right, either in your body or in any other sort of form. And what that is and how you can actually connect deeper with your form of intuition, so you actually can hear it and you can listen to it and therefore make better decisions. This is what we will discuss in this video. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Leandra. I'm a human design expert, but I also work in the holistic health field. And if you would like to work with me, you can find all the links for that down below. I give one-on-one guidance, I give readings, and I also have created an app that is for free, which is called Era, where you can calculate your human design chart, save your friends, make compatibility charts. So check that out as well and follow along with this video. So let's start with the first authority. And if you don't know which one you have, then just look at your chart in Era in the app and it will say authority, and then it will say one of the following. So there's emotional authority, there's sacral authority, splenic, ego, self-projected, mental, and lunar authority. And we will start discussing the emotional authority, which is the strongest energy in the whole chart, and it comes from the solar plexus, which is responsible for our emotions. So the solar plexus center creates an own wave of emotions, which means you are an emotional person if you have this authority. And that means that your decision-making process will need to move through a whole wave of emotions that you're naturally flowing through the course of your life. So you will experience highs and you will experience lows. But that also means that your decision-making process cannot happen ideally in the present moment, because in the next moment it might already feel different for you. So for you, it is super important to leave yourself some time to make a right and correct decision. And what helps you is, first of all, remembering that and bringing more awareness to that a minimum you sleep on it for one night, if not more, and you wait out until the emotional tensity has passed. So until you find a sort of clarity, until you find a calm, until you feel like the fog has lifted. And a great way to get there is not abandoning your emotions. What I see quite often, what happens to people, they don't want to feel it, they numb it with something. So for you, it is actually super important to connect with your emotions and see what do they try to tell you. And then let them move through you, knowing that it's just a wave and you don't need to hold on to them, but let them pass through you as they're moving in a natural cycle through you. It's also really helpful, which I experience with a lot of my clients, that you do something like an emotional tracker. So similar like women track their period, you could track your emotions, which means you're writing down how you feel that certain day and how long this mood lasts, etc., etc. And you will probably see a pattern really quick on how your emotions move through you. And that will help you, again, bring more awareness to it and also maybe plan a little bit better. When you have a tense emotion, when you feel like you're maybe in the low and you don't really have a lot of energy, it's super important that you spend time with yourself and give yourself the time to find ways on how to deal with these emotions, and not externalize them or smash them onto other people, because that will just cause a reaction and probably make the other person angry and you as well. So sit with your emotions and see how can you move in your own way through your emotions, which could happen that you spend some time alone in nature, which could happen that you talk with people about it and you share yourself, which could happen in creativity, which could happen in movement. So depending on how your solar plexus is activated, in which channel, it is a different way. So it is connected to the root center. You will have a lot of pressure, which can ideally be built down with a lot of movement. So you want to move your body, you want to get in action, but also channeling it into creativity. If you have it connected with your sacral center, you need connection. So having good and closeness with other people, that can help you move through your wave with more ease. Or if you have it connected with your throat, that means that sharing and talking about it or writing about it, that could be a great way on how to release your emotions and deal with them on your own. Next up, we have the sacral center. And if you have sacral authority, like myself, I'm a sacral generator, you are here to follow really your gut. This is exactly where the saying is coming from, because your sacral is pretty much located around your gut, and this will give you this feeling of something feels so good and so exciting, and you will get this warmth and this rush of energy, or nothing will happen, or you will even feel a little bit of a cringe in your stomach gut area, and that means it's a no. So when the energy is on, it's a yes. When the energy is off, or even rejecting something, then it's a no. So it comes from a really physical sensation or from a really physical place. That means that the more in touch you are with your body and also the sounds and the movements that your body makes, the more you will understand to hear your sort of intuition, your sacral authority. And for me, that really shows up that I put myself straight and my eyes are starting to shine, and I really feel this excitement in my gut area when I really want to do something, and when I know it's a clear yes for me. And when it's more like a slouching down, and it's more like a my face is kind of cramping and I don't feel any excitement, then it's a clear no. So asking yourself yes and no question and then observing your reaction is really helpful, and how to practice getting more in touch with your sort of authority, with your sacral. And you can practice that by asking yourself yes and no question. However, in the beginning, it can sometimes be a little bit more easy when other people ask you yes and no question. So when you have a good friend and you may be unclear about a decision, and the friend is just asking you a row of questions where you just very intuitively in the moment answer these questions with yes and no without thinking too much about it, because that happens quite often, that then you think too much about it and that kind of distracts you back. That is why it's important to react your bodies, to observe your body signals and really check in with your body to see what is my body telling me, and what is there energy for something, or is there no energy for something. Also, a lot of movement, as you are a generator type having a defined sacral, is really helpful to get more in touch with your sacral. If you're just sitting all day and you're not moving, that might cause a lot of stagnation and might cause your sacral to kind of shut down. So you need movement, and the more in touch you are with your physical body, with your physicalness, the more you can also ground yourself. That will help you as well. So spending time outside, spending time and doing exercise or sport is really helpful to get in touch. Next up, we have the spleen center, and the spleen center is very closely connected to the physical body, but in a different way than the sacral. So it is really about the primal body instincts, meaning fear, or meaning health, like a sense of health and well-being, or maybe even meaning stuckness together and cringing. So your physical body is your tool on how to tell you if something is correct for you or not. And that is why your physical connection, the connection that you have with your body, with yourself, is the most important connection you can have in order to make right decisions. And that is why it's so important to take extra good care of your body, meaning having a good diet, going out in nature, sleeping enough, etc., so you can feel yourself more and therefore make better decisions. And self-care should be on your daily list, that you really check in with yourself and you have a practice of self-care so you can come more in alignment. Also, slowing down and spending time in solitude or in nature is really great for you, because the spleen is a very subtle kind of noise or sound that easily can be overridden by other people or by the noise in your head. So easily your head can jump in and tell you something different, and therefore it's important to kind of calm down the noise and come back to yourself and your physicality. So also, needless to say, the less substances you use, like caffeine or alcohol or drugs or anything of that nature, that brings you actually away from listening to your body, will help you to be more in touch with yourself. So really living a really clean and self-care focused life. Next up, we have the ego center or heart authority, which comes from the heart, and that is shown as excitement and from will. So it's quite rare, and you will notice it that you will have an excitement for something. You're really burning for something, and there's this immense drive that you literally just want to start something right now and get going. And that is your right way of making decisions. So coming from your own will, coming from your own power. And you can harness this by really listening to yourself. How does your voice sound also when you're saying something? Is there excitement in your voice? So learning to listen very, very carefully to yourself is a great way on how to connect actually more with that sort of intuition, as well as having practices to open your heart space or to open your chest. So breathwork could be a great tool, or yin yoga where you open your heart a lot, or yoga in general. Everything that connects you more with your heart and really understanding what are your heart desires, what is it what you want to bring into the world or what you want to follow, because it's really about your desires that you need to speak out and that you need to immediately bring into action. Also, not tending to do the overthinking is really helpful. So again, also quite connected to the body and in the moment where you feel this rush of excitement and really listening to that. Then we have self-projected authority, and that comes from your identity center, which is connected with the throat. And therefore, your decision-making process comes from a deep inner knowing, which means that you sometimes maybe have just a feeling that something is right for you and you don't really know why, but it just shows you that this is the right direction for you. And you really need to learn how to listen to these subtle, very gentle cues. So people with self-projected authority are often very gentle people, really also a kind of hard-led people, but not in a dominant, but in a very soft way. They have this softness about them, and that is really what you're also here to listen to, this soft, gentle voice that you hold within you, which is simply just telling you what's right for you. Another great way of hearing this voice can be that you just speak with different people which you feel comfortable with and who see you for who you are about these kind of things, and that will actually help you understand more what you self want. Also, what can help is journaling, or bringing your inner self somehow to the outside, expressing yourself in some way or shape or form. So maybe journaling, writing, or sending yourself a voice note, or singing, any sort of that nature can help you to hear your voice more clearly and understand yourself more in the sense of which direction is right for you or what is actually right for you. So you might need to talk things out quite a bit and really listening to your own self speak as well. And that can also help when you have some trusted people around you, where you literally just speak about the themes without them telling you what to do. So speak about the things, journal about the things, and really also connect more to your inner core, to this gentle noise or voice that tries to tell you something. And you can get there also by maybe meditating or by coming in stillness and in calmness. So everything that connects you with your center, and that can come through these modalities, is great for you on how to connect even more with this. And then we have mental authority, and mental authority is when you have a very active head and mind, and maybe sometimes connected to the throat. And this means that you have a lot of headspace energy. So you think in a quite rational way, or constantly your head is turned on basically, which does not mean that you should make your decisions out from logic or strategy, but you should actually find your clarity as you find yourself in the right place with the right people, and therefore feeling comfortable in that situation, and then speaking out your thoughts with other people. But the key for you is really to find yourself in environments and with people who you trust and who you feel really good at. So what is a great tool to do so is testing out different environments or checking out different places, so you can know, here I feel good with talking with these kind of people, or maybe I don't feel so good, and then don't make a decision if you don't feel like you're in the right place for yourself. So that is the first thing. But then the second thing is you need to speak, you need to talk and hear yourself talk. And as you hear yourself talking, this is how you will find clarity, and this is how your maybe messy thoughts will become a little bit more structured, or how you can actually find what resonates with you or what is great for you. And that again is important, that you have the right people around you who don't tell you what to do, but help you ask the right questions or find your answers to the things. And a great way of helping that can also be journaling, or maybe also just talking to yourself in a voice note or anything of that nature, or as you even record a voice note, hearing yourself speak. So everywhere where you can get your thoughts out into the world can be a great way on how to connect more with this sort of authority. And last but not least, we have lunar authority, which is inherent to the reflector type, and it's very rare. And the lunar authority is bound, as the name already says, to the moon, which means you're moving with the moon cycle. So you will go through all the different stages. Every 8-9 hours, you will feel a different vibe. You will feel different. And you're here to explore all of that, the whole spectrum of what that moon cycle brings, and go on a decision from different angles, from different perspectives. Sometimes you might feel into it, sometimes you might have energy for it, sometimes you might sense a sensation. So you're here to experience all of that in the course of 28, 29 days, the time that the moon circulates over the Earth. So great rituals for you, or great in general, is for you to really connect with the moon, and maybe take a moon bath, or sit outside, or watch the moon, or even having a journal where you track your moon cycle. And that might be very closely tied in with your period if you're a person who has their menstruation. So that could be something that you're observing, and that can help you also predict a little bit more patterns, or help you understand the patterns that are showing up in the course of a month. And also it is great that you leave yourself some time, therefore, for decisions. So you need a minimum of 28, 29 days in order to make a right and correct decision. And that is why you should not stress yourself, or not overthink the things and think you have to make this fast decision now. So leave yourself some time, and really don't get stressed. Don't overthink it, because the answers will come naturally to you. They will flow to you once the time is right, once you have explored all the angles. So really allowing yourself, if you can, to take time and not stress about making a decision right now, by just surrendering to the flow of life, basically. And what really helps you is talking it through. So as you feel so different in all the different phases, and explore all of these different ways on how you feel in different times and through the different cycles, you need a lot of time. You need to speak it over with maybe friends or trusted ones, where you hear yourself talk, and where you just find over the course of time also some more clarity for yourself. And that can only happen when you find yourself in the right environment, which means that you might want to allow yourself to flow and to travel and taste and test different sets of environments and situations and cultures, etc. So really allowing yourself to just flow with life. This is the best thing you can do for coming and tapping more intuition, and then staying at the places where it feels good for you, and where there's people who you trust and who you like to talk to find your clarity. So yeah, that was a quick run through all of the different authorities. And if you want to learn more about your specific authority and how it connects to the rest of your chart, because this is really what we're doing in a reading, we're interpreting the whole chart together, not just single aspects, because there might be counterparts that kind of make it difficult for you to trust or come to your authority, then book a reading with me. I love doing one-on-one readings. You can find the link on my website. Also, don't forget to download my app Era, so you can see what your friends' authorities are, make connection charts, and it's all for free. And you might also, if you're still here, consider subscribing to this channel, because I have many more videos up to come like that. And I'm always so grateful to see you again here. And with that being said, sending you so much love, and I hope I see you next time. Bye.